Hey, what is up, lovelies? It is Lynn the Gacha Goblin, and this video is going to cover all of the information concerning the Xavier myth drama that has happened over the past few weeks. It's kind of died down now, so I don't really think that this is something that is relevant as of right now, but a few weeks ago it was actually pretty prevalent in the Twitter sphere. So what exactly happened? This actually starts from a very it seemed like a very positive beginning, right? And then it turned into something else. People took the information and twisted it and all of these things. So we're gonna go over everything, and I'm going to try to start from the very beginning. So there were many Chinese players, the CN community were absolutely upset with Infold in terms of the de-sinicization practices of Lad's international server have now fully exploded across major CN media platforms. CN players are calling for one of two actions: either shut down the international servers, CN or international. I know that sounds scary, that sounds crazy. So what exactly is de-sinicization? And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But this is basically what they are talking about, right? In-depth analysis of the Taoist temple change to a Shinto shrine controversy in Love and Deepspace Japanese server. You would have thought that this all started because of the Western servers. No, this started because of the Japanese servers. Now, it's because there's a lot of bad blood between the Chinese and the Japanese back then or whatnot. There's a lot of cultural history here that probably affects the way that the CN lovelies see the global servers. So, that adds a lot of things that make this way more complicated than I can personally understand. So I'm just going to read everything that's on the screen right now, and we're going to come up with our own conclusions on our own, right? So let's just do it that way, because I don't have the historical knowledge, the cultural knowledge, or anything like that to even dive into those sectors of information. So here we go. Core points of contention: systematic replacement of cultural elements, religious setting. In Chinese server storyline, a Chinese Taoist temple is translated as a Japanese Shinto shrine in the Japanese server. The wishing ribbons were changed to Emma, which is a Japanese wooden prayer plaques. Food content: the Ru Jai Mo Chinese meat bun was removed, and the Shen Jian Bao pan-fried bun was renamed as the Chinese bun, and the teppanyaki style barbecue was replaced by Japanese yakitori. In the international version, these were replaced by tacos, hamburgers, and other Western fast foods. Daily life details: in the Chinese version, characters say go home and cook noodles, while in the international version, it was changed to heat up the food in the microwave, reinforcing Western lifestyle habits. Main player concerns: excessive localization. Players argue that replacing core cultural symbols far exceeds reasonable adaptation. Many question, why are Japanese games allowed to keep Shinto shrines when entering China, yet a Chinese game erases its own culture when going abroad? Double standards. The Chinese server itself lacks distinctive Chinese cultural elements, using English-only labels, mostly Western food, yet the de-sinicization is even more thorough overseas. When the Chinese server topped revenue charts, it did not synchronize overseas benefits. The overseas server gave 20 free polls, while the Chinese server did not explain why. Interesting. While the Chinese server did not explain why. What do you mean? Is it because, are they saying that because I know that this has caused a lot of confusion in the community itself. When we get 20 free polls because of our dedication to the game, it's because the CN server they top the charts, like they top the revenue charts in mobile apps and whatnot over on their side, and then we as global players get the benefits from that. And some people actually don't know that. Some people just think that we get 20 pulls for free. That is not the case. It is because the Chinese server tops their charts. They're the ones who whale out on the game, and they're the ones who top the charts, and then we get the 20 free pulls. So a lot of, I know, Western players have been like demanding that we get the 20 free pulls, and that is not the case. It is the hard work of the CN server that gets that, and that hasn't been explained officially by the Love and Deepspace team or Infold. They've never addressed that. They've never told us it was because the CN server did something for us, or they did something and they achieved something and we got the benefits from it. Like, they've never explained that, and we had to find out through the CN server lovelies, explaining it to us, and then me trying to like spread the awareness, and a lot of different creators who have a platform are trying to like spread that, but never officially announced. Character identity conflict. All male leads are written as Chinese, but overseas players often mistake them for Western or Japanese due to lack of Chinese cultural traces in the story. That is true. I know that this is actually a point of contention, really, for the CN lovelies. There was that one guy, he was a Taiwanese actor living in Japan, and everybody was saying that he looked like Caleb, and then the CN lovelies were like, no, he's not Caleb. Caleb was based on a CN man or something like that. So they got really upset, and you can't blame people who are overseas for doing that, because I guess there is no real proof, or there is really no connection in game to show that it is a Chinese game. So there is that. What is this? Scale of controversy and public reaction. Topic: viral spread. The hashtag Love in Deepspace. Japanese server plot changes. That is a long hashtag. Gathered over 180 million views in a single day. Major outlets like Lich News and, oh god guys, I can't say these. So news outlets covered this. Player actions. Players launch a refund campaign demanding the option to get their money back. Over 1,000 complaints accuse the company of cultural betrayal, urging people to file claims through customer protection channels. Industry comparison. Players cited examples of Japanese anime games entering China like Onomojia, I don't know how to, Onmyoji, keeping Shinto shrines, traditional attire, etc., criticizing paper games for being self-belittlement. Oh, okay. This is really interesting, because as far as I know, China is very, they're very proud of being Chinese, as they should be. You should be proud of your own cultures and whatnot. So having the game, I guess, switch things up can be seen as a cultural betrayal, which is I find that very socially interesting. Cultural clash behind the controversy. Debate and localization boundaries. Japanese cultural scholars noted that the term Taoist temple is already understood by many young Japanese players. Replacing it with Shinto shrine unnecessarily serves historical cultural ties, since Shinto itself absorbed Chinese yin-yang and 5-element concepts. Wow, players asked if McDonald's in Sichuan provides chili powder for locals. Why would the Chinese game feel ashamed of its own culture overseas? Developers mishandling worsens tensions. Ooh, what did Involve do? The lack of unofficial response for 48 hours fueled the backlash. Well, Infold is not the best when it handles bad PR. They go quiet. The company often only offered generic "will pass on your feedback" replies via customer service. Players angrily accused the company of blind worship of foreign culture. Whoa, blind worship? That's crazy. And even traitorous, I can't Can't say that word. Behavior demanding a clear political stance. Corporate risk. Okay. Revealed that Paper Games and its affiliates are involved in over 20 legal cases, contract disputes, unfair competition with business ties to major firms like Pinduoduo. Whoa, really? Paper Games is involved in over 20 legal cases? Contract disputes. Contract disputes? Unfair competition. Whoa. This is actually really interesting information. Okay. Cool. Okay, so this is where it starts. This is where Xavier's drama starts, okay? So there's this whole de-sinicization practices of lads and all of that stuff, and this information was brought over to global servers, brought over to our platforms, Western platforms like Twitter, by somebody who is a fan of a specific love interest. I don't want to point fingers because this is a lot of speculation. This is very, very big speculation on a lot of people's parts, and I'm just going to relay the news to you. But because this information was brought over by somebody who is a fan of Raphael, some people have been saying that some CM Raphael fans are purposefully trying to anger more people into causing, people to want to rebel against Infold and go into a boycott. A boycott that just happens to land during the time of Xavier's release. So that is where this whole thing starts, okay? That is the whole drama around this. That is where it begins. And then, of course, some people started to catch on. Some people started to realize that this shouldn't be an issue. This shouldn't be something that we're focusing on, especially why would we boycott the game if this is not something that directly affects the global servers and whatnot. And so this was the official translation by the Lads Translation Project, and there was an official statement made by Infold about the whole de-sinicization, I guess, thing that happened. I mean, it went to their news stations. They had to have addressed the situation itself. So this is what the translation is. Let's see. We have translated Paper Game's statement that was issued earlier today on Red Note. The translation is only being shared for informational purposes. We will not be commenting more on this matter. Full translation follows. Since the launch of Love and Deepspace, we have always used the game as a vehicle to advance China's cultural export strategy, actively disseminating Chinese culture to global players. After the July 3rd update, we received player feedback that the handling of the overseas localization of a specific term was controversial. Upon investigation, the use of the term is appropriately and commonly used to adapt to that specific cultural setting. However, due to certain objective reasons, in this situation, the handling of this localization could easily cause misunderstanding. Consequently, we completed a revision and released an in-game hotfix on July 3rd to avoid further controversy. So, I'm guessing that they're talking about the Taoist temple being changed over to the Shinto temple, and that was the thing that they fixed. At the same time, we have also taken notice to some feedback and suggestions concerning the game's localized content. Optimizing the game experience is an important consideration for the development of the travel aspects of the game and the direction of future iterations. At the same time, we have referred to the established experience of mainstream travel games and plan to holistically optimize and integrate the game's plot with the target language's cultural settings. In response response to players' feedback, our project team has already internally initialized a full-scale review and assessment and will formulate an optimization plan based on actual conditions in order to continue to improve user experience. So basically, they're just saying here, like, we purposefully change the cultural context to match whatever culture we were targeting the game towards. So, Western, we're going to have burgers, and for Japanese, we're going to have what did they say? I forgot what they said. But for Japanese, they're gonna have whatever, right? And that was an intentional change. In response to player feedback, our project. So then they're saying that they're going to go back and look at all of their what's it called, localizations, and see if it was necessary or if they're gonna change it or something. I feel like that's really only said there to be like, okay guys, we're gonna look at it again and we're gonna make you guys happy. We're gonna look at it again and see if we really needed to change it. Originally, this was the routine practice of optimizing the game experience due to player feedback. But recently we discovered that some online accounts on multiple platforms have organized to spread false information about us through malicious rumor mongering, manipulating public opinion, and other such acts of incitement. Such actions not only disrupt the normal online environment, but also seriously damage our brand's image, rights, and obligations. We will conduct a comprehensive investigation into relevant accounts and will resolutely protect our legal rights and interests through legal channels. Well, yeah, I mean, they were kind of saying that, they were betraying the Chinese culture, which is a huge statement to make against a company that is in China. They're very serious about their media, they're very serious about the content that they release, and very strict about it. If they get even a whiff from the government, they're gonna get they're gonna get into a lot of trouble. So I can understand why they're taking this quite seriously. I mean, if the cultural changes in localization was just mentioned and then some other people started making it into a big situation, I can understand why they're saying malicious rumor mongering. Simultaneously, we have taken the initiative to explain the situation to departments inside and outside the industry, and will closely monitor and inspect the circumstances, especially in response to the abnormal phenomena in the matter of accounts with overseas IP addresses frequently slandering us. Oh my god, and will comprehensively handle this in strict compliance with the laws and regulations. Hot diggity dog. Wait, you're saying that the people who were slandering Infold are from overseas IP addresses? Oh my, the juicy details are coming out. From the beginning, Love and Deepspace have actively undertaken the responsibility of cultural export by using the brand in various ways to introduce and disseminate, am I saying that right? The exceptional traditions of Chinese culture with the goal of promoting national cultural export starting from individual points to the broader whole, to achieve the goal of building up the global presence of Chinese brands. We collaborated with, this, I can't say those names, an exhibition center management office participating in projects that promote sports culture and develop in-depth collaborations with intangible cultural arts such as shell carving, paper cutting embroidery, Qingming colored porcelain, and Yangzhou lacquerware. Using game content dedicated to documentaries and other rich and varied formats, we have introduced they're basically, saying, no guys, we're not trying to get rid of Chinese culture, we are trying to spread it through all of the different collaborations that we had. It has not only received widespread recognition from global players, but has also drawn a wave of enthusiastic discussion about Chinese traditional culture and gained the approval of relevant organizations. It is an honor to be shared. Okay, so they're covering their ass there. However, during Love and Deepspace's continuous advancement of cultural dissemination and content optimization acts of defamation have repeatedly been carried out through deliberately and selectively quoting out of context, literally cutting chapters to take retrieve meaning, fabricating false evidence and other means. These kinds of actions not only harm the brand's reputation, but moreover damage the healthy gaming ecosystem and player experience. We firmly condemn this. Whoa, okay. We earnestly request and call upon all players to carefully discern this kind of information and resist spreading and creating rumors. If you discover malicious accounts or malicious defamation, you can report this through our official channels. We will always have an open attitude and handle things reasonably. At the same time, we will never tolerate any illegal or rule-breaking actions. We resolutely will protect ourselves and our players' legal rights and interests and jointly safeguard a clean cyberspace. Wow. Okay. Interesting. So somebody was spreading false narratives online, basically. And let's dive into. So I have some stuff saved here. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna say this. Is Xavier really that of a threat to y'all, to the point where you're even going to sabotage his third myth? Not only are you causing stress to the community, but you're also stooping so low to defame another man just to make your fave the best. Disgusting. Why are people afraid of Xavier's next myth? I mean, really scared. First, they mass report to customer service just to make sure his next myth would be the weakest, and now they're using the political heat in CN to push their own agendas and drag his myth down again. That's already 2 major sabotages. Wild shiz. Yeah, so that's what I heard. That's basically what I found out. Like, they're using this whole, there's also apparently something politically happening in the CN like political sphere that I don't really understand. I don't understand that, but having that happen and then having this de-sinicization happen also, and then now some of these like other love interest fans taking the situation and then turning it against Xavier is actually quite shocking. The quote retweets are exactly the examples of CN people are concerned of, which is why I'm half supporting the shutdown on global. Let's see. The thing I'm annoyed and disgusted about this moment is CN is the fact that they started by a certain ally stand to specifically target a love interest. They really think that we can't see the shade. To use Xav as profile picture while calling us good news screams fakey. You're from CN, you know exactly the discourse there. Oh yeah, so this person was actually using Xavier's profile picture at the time that they were sharing this information. So yeah, there's that too. Official lads made a very long statement on Weibo talking about localization issue, then mentioning that there was misinformation going around and they're taking legal actions. Like, what did I miss? This was Suzu. But yeah, there a lot of stuff came out at the same time. Under facade of political sensitivity, last several days, Xavier was being used as a spearhead for Info's overseas localization controversy. Xavier was defamed and defaced, and even to be used as a bad example to attack Infold. Yeah. Xavier stands, make sure to read this and be aware of how certain malicious players have been trying to ruin Xavier's new myth release. But the real intention behind this is to sabotage his solar by misleading innocent normal players to boycott the game. Now, Paper Games has collected the evidence of these accounts and alerted authorities. Xavier in Love and Deepspace wow, I can't read today. An idealized protagonist, a textbook hero, he has collaborated with non-tangible heritage programs officially and with the Olympics. He unofficially has appeared in government news while working with China Space Day. His birthday team has worked several charity projects in his name and being praised by government newspapers. He is the man who only stands in the light, so do his stands. That's actually really cute. But yeah. They were trying to use his myth to push a certain agenda and then boycott the game. So basically, long story short, that is the whole shenanigans with Xavier's myth. It took a very political turn. It really wasn't something I was expecting, but can you believe that Love and Infold is involved in over 20 legal cases right now? That is actually insane. Yeah, that is pretty much the shindig. I hope you guys understood this. To give a short summary, there was a political agenda that was circulating in China. Then some people started looking at Love in Deepspace, taking things out of context and claiming that it was de-sinicization practices of Infold, started blaming the company, and then they started saying, oh my god, we should boycott the game during Xavier's myth. And then that's where it kind of just started and spread from there. There are a few people on the CN side who don't like the other love interests at all. There was this whole instance last year where Xavier was actually hated very, very much. They were trying to cancel Xavier as a character, try to get him removed from the game. And the people who were doing that were Raphael fans over on the CN side. And it's actually kind of crazy how things have played out, because I guess they're still after Xavier now. I'm not really sure. That is all alleged information. That is all allegedly it was Raphael fans, but honestly it could have been anybody. Anybody who wanted to start any drama, it could have been anyone, and it's just very frustrating. It is crazy to see how crazy Western players are and then how crazy CN players are. At this point, I don't know who's worse. Anyway, hopefully now you guys understand why it took me such a long time before I brought out this information, because there's just a lot of different things that make it very complicated to explain, and I tried my best to try to explain it to you guys. Hopefully you get it. If anybody wants to add any clarifying points down in the comments below, go ahead. Add your clarifying points, but don't spread any misinformation down there. I'm gonna be watching you guys, okay? Alrighty, well, if you've watched this far into the video, leave a that's a good question. Leave a fire emoji down in the comments below. Okay, thank you all so much for watching. I am Lynn, the Gacha Goblin, and I will see you lovelies in the next video. Bye-bye now.